It's finally springtime in St. Louis, which is indicated by the blooming of the dogwoods, and it also means one other thing: bad weather. It's technically spring break for me, and I don't have class for the next 2 weeks, so I decided to spend a solo day exploring the town, and I really wanted to find a nice book to read. I must have been out of the book buying market for quite some time, because I usually go to half-price books, and I haven't been to a Barnes & Noble in forever. So when I saw the price of this book being $30, I was a bit shocked. Sticker shocked, I guess. But I guess that's not a surprise because it's hardback and it's a classic. Panera Bread actually originated here in St. Louis, and it used to be a symbol of pride, but the fall has been quite great lately. Right now I am in Faust Park, which should not be confused with the famous Forest Park. The names are super similar, but they're different. And I did not want to go downtown today because everybody and their mom's downtown. I think today's the St. Patrick's Day parade. It is 314 day, but this is a pretty unique spot because we have all these little historical homes here and the butterfly house. And thankfully it's like a really comfortable day. It's not as warm as I would think it would be, or I thought it would be. So I got like a hot chocolate, which seems so out of season. I mean, but you know, that is St. Louis weather for you. And look, the trees are blue, or budding. These are the historic homes. Majority of them came from places in St. Louis. Actually, no, I think they all came from places in St. Louis, and some in just around Missouri. But this one right here is really unique. I'll show you. It's amazing how far things have come, and I don't know, I'm always curious about where those people are now. I mean, not the people in the picture, they're definitely well past gone, but I wonder where their families are, and if members of their family are aware that they were like, you know, the first black school in Chesterfield, which is really cool. And we have a carousel here. I've never actually been in there, but my sister said I can't go because I'm too old. It's been here since 1987, but it was built in 1927. Say, Chelsea, are you creating pro-St. Louis propaganda? Absolutely. Okay, maybe propaganda is like a really strong word, especially given the way things are right now, but I think that St. Louis is so underrated. People don't talk about it, and you know, it's kind of treated as not as special as places like New York or Chicago or, you know, LA or, you know, the major cities, but it is a major city here, and it is really cool. I just wish that people liked it and talked about it more than they do. Here we have our famous butterfly house. And I honestly have not been inside the butterfly house in maybe 10 years. It's been a long time. And the last time I was there, we went with some Japanese students, and there was a girl who was so terrified that she like squished my arm because she did not want to have to deal with it. And I don't blame her. Butterflies are kind of scary. Okay, so I went to Barnes & Noble and I got the Phantom of the Opera. I've always wanted to read this book, but I tried to look on Amazon and I come to find out that a lot of them are like fan translations and some of them are real, but I'm not sure which ones are the real ones. And I was thinking of trying to find it in Spanish too so that I could practice reading some more. And I'm going to have to find that one online because Barnes & Noble didn't have it. But I love the Phantom of the Opera. I wanted to get it because I saw the play at the Fox Theater a few weeks ago and I loved it. And, you know, I had no prior introduction to it I had no prior introduction to the play because the first version of it I ever saw was the movie, and I like the movie. I know people think that movie's terrible, and I'm talking about the like 2000 and I don't know what year that came out, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was romantic and sweet, and I know people think the singing's terrible, and I think it was passable. However, seeing the play, I can see why they would say that the singing was terrible. And by singing, I think they mean like the Phantom and Raoul, because they kind of are talk singing. But the girl who played Christine, I think she did a good job. I'm talking about the movie version right now. However, I loved the play. Spoilers ahead if you've never seen Phantom of the Opera. So they did have the chandelier prop, which was so cool. And it did do the whole dropping and sparking and everything. It was amazing. And then one of my favorite things about the play was like whenever the Phantom spoke and he was supposed to be in the theater, his voice would travel like behind you even though you didn't see him. So it almost felt like he was like walking behind you. It was so amazing. And I think they did a great job with the singing. The Phantom's voice was my absolute favorite. I mean, it was all around awesome. But I wanted to get the book because my sister and I are supposed to go to London, God willing, in May. And if all goes well, we'll be there. And we are supposed to see the Phantom of the Opera. And years ago, we were actually going to go see it on Broadway in New York. But they had canceled their permanent performance by then. So we finally get to see it again. Or get to see it for the I guess that's not even true. The second time in London, even though we already saw it in St. Louis, but it was amazing. It was definitely worth seeing, and definitely worth seeing twice for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a little evening read, something that I'll be going through, and my sister's going to be gone for a few days because she's going to be house sitting for my other sister. And it'll just be me and Georgie, and this will be a good way to unwind for the evening. Also, I want to unbox my new camera. One of my favorite YouTubers that I follow is a guy from Spain who does food competitions, and his name is Estic. And I follow him on Instagram, and one of his stories had like this really cool retro style camera, and I'm glad he included the name because I went and bought it, and it is this. This is so cute. And I thought that he was using something else, and then I looked it up on Amazon and BH Camera, and I thought it was a keychain, like a literal keychain, but this is a keychain, but it's an actual camera, which is so cool. And you don't know which version you're gonna get because it's kind of like a mystery box. And honestly, I don't care which one I get. If anything, no, that's not true. I think I want the yellow one. I don't know if I'm pointing to the yellow one. Yeah, I want this one. And then second best, maybe the gray one, but it's kind of like a mystery box. It was only $34 and I figured I might as well snatch it up before it becomes like popular on everything, and suddenly that price is gonna skyrocket because once social media gets a hold of everything, it's too expensive. So let's see which one I got. I'll put my garbage in my bag. I got the gray one. Oh, cute. This is my Kodak camera. Oh, it's so cute. And it is an actual functional camera. And it requires like a micro SD card. Look at how precious that is. I am gonna try to use it, but if anything, I would like to use some retro style footage in my vlogs from now on. And I think it'd be really cool to use when I go to London in May, and I'll also be going to Italy, which is cool because I did get to try an affogato today for the first time as like a pre-game warm-up because I've never had an affogato in Italy before, and I've been to Italy 5 times, so it was nice. But I would like to be using this before then, but mostly I kind of want to save it for that time. And it comes with a little USB charger and the little keychain. That is so precious. And I don't think it's worth to go buy, you know, a bunch of these. I know it's a blind box thing, but yeah, I don't think that there's a need to keep buying a ton of them. Anyway, while I'm here, I guess I should read and enjoy my lunch. I went to Panera and I also got a hot chocolate because it's not warm out here, like I said earlier. And yeah, I'm not gonna really be doing too much today because it's a lovely day, but since I don't have school, I kind of don't want to be too busy. It's kind of nice to have a day off from school, although the time at school isn't really that big of a deal considering it's only 2 hours. However, I really like having a slow day because it makes the slow evenings even better.